Some scenes are dramatized, the facts are real. You just check the time, hours, minutes, seconds, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 360 degrees. Mind-blowing truth? That 60-based system was invented 5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq. No calculators, just clay, reeds, and radical ingenuity. Every time you read a clock or a compass, you're using their math. Let's see how they solved chaos with numbers, then how Egypt forged geometry. 3000 BCE, the city of Ur, one of humanity's first true cities. No computers, no electricity, just 40,000 people trying to figure out how to not destroy each other with chaos and confusion. How much? That's not fair. I need payment. Imagine you're the chief administrator of Ur. Your job is to keep this entire civilization from collapsing into complete chaos. And every single day, you face the same impossible problem. These aren't just numbers. They're the difference between a thriving city and mass starvation. Get them wrong? People die. No pressure, right? The scribes using the old system, simple tally marks, are drowning, literally going insane trying to keep track. This is when a young scribe named Enlil-Nasir decided to do something radical. Enlil-Nasir was in his late 20s, basically the Elon Musk of ancient Mesopotamia, and he was about to invent something that would change everything. He took wet clay, pressed a special reed stylus into it in different patterns, and created the world's first real counting system. But here's the genius part. He didn't use tens like we do. He used 60. 60. Why would anyone do this? Well, watch what happens. 60 divides evenly by 12 different numbers. Compare that to 10, our system, which only divides evenly by 2 and 5. 60 is mathematically superior for practical calculation. Enlil-Nasir trained other scribes in his new system. They used dots for ones, wedge marks for tens, and created place value positions, putting numbers in different spots to show different values. 3 in this position meant 3, but 3 in this position meant 180. It's like having a ones place, a tens place, a hundreds place, but with 60. Within 5 years, every major Sumerian city had adopted the system. By 2500 BCE, Enlil-Nasir and his colleagues had gone even further. They created the world's first multiplication tables. Actual multiplication homework tablets. We've excavated them. They're in museums. Students would solve problems like 6 times 7 by checking their tablets. They even solved division and geometry problems. Now, here's the absolutely mind-blowing part. That 60 they chose? It doesn't just disappear when empires fall, it survives. When you check your phone and see 3 hours, 14 minutes, 52 seconds, you're literally looking at Sumerian mathematics. Every single time. You check the time. "60 minutes in an hour?" Sumerians. 3000 BCE. 360 degrees in a circle? That's 6 times their magic number. Ancient Mesopotamia is literally built into the fabric of our modern world. Every pilot, every sailor, every engineer uses this daily. And they did it with a wet clay tablet and a stylus. No calculator, no computer, just pure intellectual genius. But while Mesopotamia was mastering time and commerce 1,000 miles away along the Nile River, Egyptian mathematicians faced a completely different challenge, one that would birth geometry itself. 2000 BCE. Ancient Egypt depends on one thing: the annual flooding of the Nile River. The water brings fertile soil. It's the only reason civilization exists here in the desert. For a few months, the Nile transforms Egypt into a massive lake. Crops are planted, Everyone's happy. But then, the water recedes. And here's the catastrophe. Every single boundary line gone, washed away. So now you have 10,000 farmers all arguing, "That's my land." "No, it's mine. I think I owned more before the flood." The Egyptian government needs a way to settle these disputes before riots break out. They need someone who can measure the land and prove who owns what. Enter a man named Ahmes. Ahmes was a rope stretcher, a surveyor. His job? Measure the land after the flood and redraw the boundaries. But the old method was terrible. It used long ropes that would stretch, measuring devices that were inaccurate, and it took forever. Then one day, Ahmes discovered something extraordinary. A rope with 12 equally spaced knots. Watch what happens when he uses it. Starting from one knot, he measures out 3 knots in one direction. Then from that point, 4 knots in another direction. And at that corner, perfect right angle. Every single time. The 3, 4, 5 triangle. It always creates a perfect right angle. Ahmes could now survey land in a fraction of the time with perfect accuracy, using just a rope and his knowledge. Now here's the absolutely insane part. Ahmes was using what we now call the Pythagorean theorem. The Pythagorean theorem, the famous equation a2 plus b2 = c2. And Ahmes did this 1,500 years before Pythagoras was even born. Pythagoras gets all the credit, but the Egyptians figured it out first. But the Egyptians didn't stop at surveying farmland. They used their geometric knowledge for something insane. They built the Great Pyramid of Giza. 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing between 2 and 15 tons, stacked so precisely that you can't fit a piece of paper between many of them. All without machinery. No computers, no lasers. How did they do it? Mathematics. The Egyptian priests calculated every angle, every measurement, with perfect precision using geometry. The Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an error of less than 0.05 degrees. They didn't have compasses that precise. They used the stars and mathematics. And some historians believe the Egyptians encoded the golden ratio into the pyramid's design, a mathematical ratio found throughout nature that's considered aesthetically perfect. The same ratio found in seashells, sunflowers, and human faces. Did they discover it accidentally, or did they understand it 4,500 years ago? We honestly don't know. But it's there. The pyramids still stand. After 4,500 years, through earthquakes, wars, erosion. Because they were built on mathematics that works. Every architect today, every engineer, every builder uses Egyptian geometry. When they measure land, they use surveying techniques descended from rope stretchers. When they calculate angles and proportions, they use principles the Egyptians perfected. The technology changed. Ropes became GPS, but the mathematical principles? Still the same, still perfect, still Egyptian. The Egyptians didn't just discover geometry, they perfected it. They used it to build monuments that last millennia. That's not just math, that's immortality through mathematics. 2 civilizations, 2 different deserts, 2 completely different problems, but one incredible response: mathematics. Mesopotamia gave us time and numbers, the very framework we use to count and measure every day. Egypt gave us geometry and measurement, the tools to build our world. Everything we do, checking the time, building houses, measuring roads, we do it using knowledge from people who lived 5,000 years ago. They're dead. Their civilizations are dust. But their ideas, still alive, still working, still shaping everything we do. 2 civilizations, 2 different challenges, 1 incredible response: mathematics. The facts, the discoveries, the technologies, all real and verified by historians and archaeologists. The specific characters and scenarios, our way of bringing that history to life for you. Next episode, India discovers zero and changes everything again. Subscribe now.